friends, this is Tisha from Meadows and Mortar by Tisha, and today we're going to be doing a jewelry armoire makeover. Now I got this jewelry armoire and it was brand new in the box. I assembled it and I had a client who wanted this for her daughter's graduation present. She said that she wanted it to be pink, she wanted it to have bows, and she wanted it to have gold. That's the only direction that she gave me. She did show me a picture of a Pottery Barn jewelry box and it was just very girly, very feminine, so I just ran with it. So the first thing that I did after I cleaned it is I gave it a good coat of a bonding primer because it is a slick and shiny surface. Then after that, I let it dry, and you can see that I'm using some DOS air dry clay, and I'm just putting it in these molds, and I'm making these little bows. Now I want it to go on each one of these drawers, and then I'll put the hardware in the middle of the bows, so it'll look like a jewel in the center of it. You could use resin if you'd like, but I wanted to use air dry clay on this because I wanted to conform it to the top part here. As you can see, I use the larger bow in this one, and I just kind of make it drape down from the top of the piece. I use DOS air dry clay. There are a bunch of different clays out there that you could use. This is just readily available to me at Hobby Lobby, and I prefer to use it. Now I'm taking some Wise Owl paint, and I made my own mixture. I used 3/4 of limestone and 1/4 of the color Malibu, and it made this pretty pale pink. And I just take this and I put it all over the whole entire piece. Not every time, but a lot of the times whenever I'm blending, I like to take and just cover the whole entire piece with my lightest color or my middle color if I'm using 3 different colors. And there's no real reason behind when I do and when I don't. It's just how I'm feeling. So this right now, you can see there are a lot of different grooves in this where I'm painting over top of those molds. So I'm wanting to make sure that I really get everything settled into those areas. I'm using that same mixture that I used before, and I'm putting this all over everything so that I can get a good wet base on here. And you saw whenever I very first started this step that I used my mister bottle and I just misted some water on it. And that's just because with Wise Owl paint, it's very porous and it just helps the paint glide on there a little bit quicker. So now I'm using just the color Malibu. Now this was in that mixture that I made, so I know that it's going to blend nicely in with my mixture that I made because it's already got this color into the mix. So I'm taking it and I'm just concentrating it around the bows, and then I'm going to take it and blend it out into the other color as well. So it's just going to look like it's gradually getting lighter as you enter the edges of the box. So you saw I put it on the bow, and then before that I had put the mixture all over all of it. So after I get the pink on there, I can take a dry brush that does not have any paint on it, and you want it to be a soft brush because you're going over so many peaks and valleys. It's going to work better if you have a softer bristle brush. So I'm taking it, putting it on there, swirling it around, trying to move those 2 colors together a little bit. And then I take that dry neutral brush and then I just brush it all together, and that's really going to blur those lines out. On this one, I'm using a Paint Couture brush. These are so soft and so supple, and they are wonderful for doing jobs like this. For the pink part, I'm just using a craft brush that I had got from Hobby Lobby because it's really trying to go into all of those details, and I don't need that super soft synthetic brush for that part. And I'll just continue this all the way down on all of those bows, and then I'll go over the top bow and the ribbons that hang down as well, because I'm wanting my focal point to be on these bows because that's really what she wanted me to accentuate in this project. So I'm wanting to make your eyes draw towards those bows. And if you're not already, I just want to take a moment to ask you if you would just subscribe to my page, maybe like this video, comment on it, do something to interact with me. So I know that my YouTube channel is still a baby and it's still in its infancy and it's growing, but I want to continue for this puppy to grow. So if you don't mind, please just follow along the journey with me. I would love to have you here. I would love for us to learn from one another. And I just want to say thank you for watching this far, because I can't imagine that people would want to watch some Southern gal from Virginia paint, but here we are. Now there are a bunch of different types of paints that you can use, but I would suggest that if you're wanting to do a finish like this, that you use a chalk style paint. Now there are different brands out there and you just choose the one that you prefer. Wise Owl is a good choice. It's always really nice and consistent. It blends really well. I also really love Paint Couture paint. It's also the same way. It's really good stuff. But there are other brands out there as well. Just choose whatever you prefer. The only thing that I would say is I would stay away from like a wall paint, or also known as a latex paint, because you're not going to be able to blend the way that you need to. It's going to peel off really easy. It's just not going to give a professional finish. So this is just gold leaf adhesive. This is a tacky glue sort of stuff that you put on there. You let it sit for a few minutes. It gets tacky to the touch, and then I'm just putting little strips of gold leaf on here. Once the gold leaf is on there and it dries, then I just take a soft bristle brush and I just take off the excess of it. So you'll see right here, I'm just using a Klingon brush and I'm just brushing off the excess. This is set there for like an hour or something. I don't know the exact amount of time, but I just let it get good and dry after I'd done dinner that night. And then you just brush off the excess. Now, gold leaf makes a god-awful mess. If you have never used gold leaf, just go ahead and prepare to have gold leaf pieces in your hair and in your ears and up your nose and in every crevice in your workshop, because it's worse than glitter and it is really hard to get out. A smart person would do this outside, like in their driveway, but I have never been accused of being smart before, so I just do it in my garage and then complain every single time, because I'm picking this crap up for days. But it gives a really, really pretty sheen. It's quite authentic, and there is nothing like the shine of gold leaf. So after I got that done, I really wanted to draw your eye in more towards those bows. So I'm just using a little bit of black wax and I'm going around the bows, and I'm just wanting to give like a deeper, like a vignette sort of look around the bows. And you just put it around the edges of it and you just smear it out a little bit, kind of like a smoky eyeshadow blend. If only I could really do my own eyeshadow well. But this is just going to sort of highlight the bow, or I guess not highlight, it would be a low light, I guess. But it's just going to really make it pop a little more. Now, sometimes whenever you go around the edges of it, you will need to take a bigger brush to smudge it out so it doesn't look just like plain lines, or you can use a paper towel to kind of smudge out those lines, because you don't want it to look like you just took a pencil and drew around the edges of it. You're wanting it to look professional. Now, I'm using Annie Sloan black wax on this, but there are other brands out there. Lowe's has antiquing waxes, just whatever you prefer to use. After I get done, I use Paint Couture's Extreme Guard. This is one of my favorite top coats. It is really, really durable. It lays nicely. It's not streaky. It's just an excellent product. You want to make sure that you're sealing not only your chalk paint, because it is very porous, but you also want to make sure that you're sealing that gold leaf. Now, there are actual sealers out there that are gold leaf sealants, but I've never had any problems just using this. So where I have the bows on here, I kind of have to go in a couple different directions, and then at the very last swipe through, I make sure that everything's going in the same direction, so it'll self-level nicely and it'll look more professional in the finished piece. And you can see whenever you're putting the top coat on, it does deepen and richen the color just slightly, but it's not anything that's like super, super noticeable, but it does richen it quite a bit. So once that you have all of this done, then you can remove any tape that you use to guard off to make sure that the velvet was protected, and then you just have to put the hardware on. So I just used the pulls that had already came with this, and I had just used some gold leaf over top of those as well, but I had forgot to do the video on that. But it's done in the same exact process that I did the gold leaf on the actual jewelry box. And this is it. This is my final product. And I really, really loved making this one. I hope that the lady who bought this from me is happy with it. I hope that her daughter is happy with it. I know that her love of bows and pink and gold really shines through on this project. And I hope that you enjoyed watching it. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments below. If there's anything that I can help you with, I'd be more than happy to do that. And guys, thanks for watching, and stick around. We might have some more stuff coming soon. So thank you guys.